So today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious sweet potato bread in the bread machine. This is a 1.5 pound loaf, and we're going to be using fresh cooked sweet potatoes, a little cinnamon, a little nutmeg, and this bread is great toasted for breakfast or as a treat, and it also makes delicious sandwiches. Remember, the recipe can be found in the description of this video. Let's take a look at the ingredients we're going to need to make this bread. We're going to need a small sweet potato, or I'm guessing that's about a little less than half a cup, or about a half a cup of mashed sweet potato. What I like to do is take my sweet potato and roast it or boil it, and then use it in my bread. This is one that I boiled, and I've already peeled one and mashed it up, and it is warmed. I warmed it in the microwave. You don't want to use it cold because that's going to affect how your bread rises. So this is like a room temperature, maybe a little warmer than room temperature, mashed sweet potato. It doesn't matter the exact size of your sweet potato, and I will show you how to accommodate for that as we put this recipe together. You're also going to need 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and I also have here 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, ground black pepper. And then I also have some nutmeg. We're going to be grating just a pinch of nutmeg into our bread as well. I have 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and the brown sugar just gives it a rich, deep flavor that white sugar just can't give. I have 1 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, and I have 1 teaspoon of salt, and I have 2 tablespoons of oil. This is canola oil. You can use any kind of oil you want. I have a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and I have 1.5 cups of bread flour. And I also have here a little less than a cup of water. We're not going to be using all of this water. I'm going to show you how, as we put the ingredients together, how much water you're going to need. So we're going to be making this in the Keepies bread machine, and because we're just making a small loaf, and it does really well with small loaves. And so first we're going to take our clean bread pan and our paddle, and we want to oil the stem and the hole of this paddle so that it'll be easy to get out. And what I always do is I just dip it into the oil that I'm using to make my bread, and then slide it down over the stem and make sure it comes off easily. And you don't have to oil the pan or anything like that. So next we're going to put our liquids together, and our liquids are going to consist of our sweet potato, which we are going to put into our measuring cup first, because remember, we don't know what size the sweet potato could vary in size. You want to get a fairly small one, but it could vary in size a little bit. So we're going to put that in, and then we want 1 cup of liquid. So we're going to add the water until it comes up to 1 cup. And so now I have 1 cup. I'm just going to stir this around a little bit. I mashed the sweet potato, but I want to make sure I don't have any big chunks in here. And just stir that up. Then we're going to pour that into our bread pan. And we're going to go ahead and pour in our oil and our spices. For the nutmeg, we're just going to grate some fresh nutmeg in here. If you're using ground nutmeg, I would go with about a pinch or 1/8 of a teaspoon. Fresh ground nutmeg is a little bit stronger, so you may not want to use too much. Just kind of use your judgment on that. We're going to add in our salt and our yeast and our brown sugar. And now we're going to add in our flour right on top. Then we're going to put it into our bread machine. And we have our pan locked into our KBS bread machine. This is a KBS bread machine, but they call it a Keepies. It's a smaller machine than the regular big KBS machine. And I know this menu may be a little difficult to see, but we are going to go to menu option number 2, which is a sweetbread. And we are going to go to the 1.5 pound loaf. And for our crust color, we are going to choose light. I'm gonna make sure I got that on light. So we're gonna choose light for the crust color, 1.5 pounds for the size, and menu option number 2 for sweetbread. And we're gonna hit start. And after a couple of minutes of it mixing, we will check to make sure we don't need to add any liquid or any flour. Okay guys, I forgot to add my vanilla, but it's not too late, so I'm just gonna add that vanilla right in. I'm just gonna take my spatula and get anything off of the sides here. And I can tell by looking at that dough, it is looking really good. So I don't think I need to add anything to that. We're just gonna let it continue mixing, and I'll bring you back when it's time to take the paddle out. Okay, so it is time to take the paddle out. It just finished the knockdown and just went to ferment 3. So we are ready to take the paddle out. I'm gonna actually try and get to it better. Take the pan out. There's the paddle. Shake the loaf back down a little bit. Put it back. And we have an hour and 31 minutes to go. So our bread is ready to come out of the bread machine. Oh, it looks so good. And it smells delicious. Oh, just look at this. Can you see that? Look at that. See how good that looks? And it's so light and fluffy. Let's make sure that it's loose. Sometimes you have to let them set, but it's ready to come out. So we're gonna take it out. Just look at this. Oh, it is so light and so fluffy. So we are gonna let this sit here and cool off, and then we'll slice into it. So we are ready to slice into our sweet potato bread. Doesn't that look wonderful? Very soft. So now let's make a delicious sandwich out of this sweet potato bread. Put on a little mayo. And to add a little kick, let's put some cowboy candy, pickled jalapenos. If you want to know how to make these, I'll put a link to the video here so you can see it. And remember, if you want to help me promote my channel, after you hit the like button, don't forget to hype this video. You get 3 free hypes a week. God bless. Bye-bye.